Open the map on your phone and choose a place 200 kilometers away. Now delete the road. Delete the compass. Delete the destination itself. All you can see is water. Could you still get there? No engine, no GPS, no visible target, just a boat, a current, and an island hidden beyond the horizon. And yet, around 35,000 years ago, people crossed open sea from the direction of Taiwan to reach islands they could not see from the coast. Somehow, they arrived. But the real mystery is not that land was waiting for them. It is how they kept moving toward it after it disappeared. We cannot know the exact crew or the exact voyage, but the evidence lets us reconstruct the kind of journey they faced. Before sunrise, a watcher climbs the mountains above Taiwan's eastern coast. Most days, haze hides everything. But on a rare, clear morning, a faint shape appears far out at sea. Land. In 2017, anthropologist Yusuke Kaifu photographed Yonaguni from high ground in eastern Taiwan, about 1,200 meters above sea level. That does not prove a prehistoric traveler stood on the same mountain, but it proves the island can be seen from Taiwan, under the right conditions. So perhaps the journey began with a glimpse. The watcher returns to the shore, and the island vanishes. From sea level, Yonaguni lies below the horizon. The group now knows land exists, but knowing is not enough. They still have to reach it, and the sea between them is not empty. The Kuroshio Current moves north through the region like a river inside the ocean. Even during the Ice Age, lower sea levels never created a land bridge to the islands. Someone had to cross open water. Could they simply have drifted there? Modern researchers examined the tracks of 138 satellite-tracked buoys in the same region. Almost none approached the central or southern Ryukyu Islands. The current usually carried passive objects north, past the target. So the ancient voyagers were probably not passengers. They were steering, but steering required a boat that could do more than float. Researchers later tested reed and bamboo craft. Both stayed above water, but neither gave a crew enough speed or control against the current. Then they built a 7.5-meter dugout canoe from cedar using Stone Age technology. They called it Tsujime. In 2019, 5 experienced paddlers took Tsujime from Taiwan to Yonaguni. They traveled about 225 kilometers in more than 45 hours. They made it. The experiment did not prove that ancient people used the same canoe, followed the same route, or relied on the same navigation system. It proved something narrower and crucial. A dugout canoe could survive the journey. Human bodies could power it far enough, and a skilled crew could cross the Kuroshio deliberately. Now return to the prehistoric shore. A tree has been chosen. Stone tools bite into the trunk as days of cutting and scraping slowly turn it into a hollow vessel. The boat builder watches every strike. Leave the hull too heavy, and the crew may not drive it through the current. Make it too thin, and the sea may break it. Nearby, others prepare food and water. The watcher points toward the empty horizon and repeats what was seen from the mountain. The crew listens. Then they push the canoe into the water. At first, Taiwan is still behind them. The mountains are clear, and turning back remains possible. The paddlers settle into a rhythm. Stroke after stroke, the coast grows smaller. Soon it becomes a dark strip. Then, it disappears. Now there is no land behind them, and no land ahead. Only water, current, and a remembered direction. The current is already moving the canoe north. Every stroke carries the crew forward, while every passing minute carries the entire boat sideways. The island stays where it is. The boat does not. Pointing directly at Yonaguni could be the mistake that makes them miss it. The Kuroshio may drag the canoe north before the island ever appears. Later computer simulations revealed the same counterintuitive problem. From parts of northern Taiwan, the more successful route began by aiming southeast, not directly at Yonaguni, away from it. The correct direction could look wrong. The crew does not understand this as an equation. They understand it through experience. Perhaps an earlier journey returned farther north than expected. Perhaps a familiar mountain seemed to slide sideways behind the canoe. The people remembered. This crew leaves from a different place and holds a different line. For hours, the horizon gives them nothing. Then the sea begins testing the boat. A swell strikes from the side. The crew turns the bow into it, absorbs the impact, then fights back onto course. Water enters the hull. One person bails while the others keep paddling. Every correction costs strength, and every pause gives the current more time. The sun sinks. Night removes the horizon, before the island ever appears. Stars offer direction until clouds cover them. Now the crew has only the swells beneath the canoe, and the route held in memory. There is no warning when they begin to drift. No voice tells them to correct. They cannot know whether the island is still ahead or whether they have already passed it. One paddler begins to doubt the heading. The navigator points to the swell and insists they hold the line. The route still feels wrong. They continue anyway. By morning, their shoulders burn, their hands have split, and the water supply is running lower. The island is still nowhere in sight. Then a bird crosses the canoe's path. A little later, another follows. The crew looks ahead. At first, there is only haze. Then the haze breaks, and a dark shape appears on the horizon. Land. They have not reached it yet. The current is still pushing north. But now, the destination is real. The paddlers find whatever strength remains. The shape grows. Cliffs separate from the sky. A beach appears. The canoe touches land. We do not know whether the first crossing looked exactly like this. Perhaps earlier crews turned back. Perhaps others vanished. Archaeology preserves the people who reached land more easily than those who disappeared at sea. A lost canoe leaves no monument, and a warning passed between people leaves no fossil. But enough crossings succeeded for humans to occupy islands across the Ryukyu chain, and they did more than land. Later communities on Okinawa made shell tools, ornaments, and some of the earliest known fishhooks. They learned the reefs and the coast well enough to build lives in a world broken into islands. But one question remains. Why leave it all? Perhaps they wanted food or new resources. Perhaps another group was pressuring them. Or perhaps curiosity was enough. We cannot know. We only know the pull was strong enough for people to build a vessel, prepare a crew, and leave visible land for a destination hidden through most of the journey. So how did ancient humans find an island they could not see? Not through one secret trick. Not by trusting a lucky current. And not by pointing a canoe at empty water and hoping. They made the invisible predictable. They remembered where land had been seen and learned how the current moved them. Failed journeys became warnings, and the route was stored in people, through practiced movements, repeated instructions, and decisions made before the coast vanished. Open the map on your phone again. The route appears instantly, and the device remembers the direction for you. Now lock the screen. The island is gone. The current cannot be seen. The horizon offers no clue. That was the world they entered. The astonishing part is not simply that land eventually appeared, it is that they learned how to keep traveling toward it after it disappeared.